Alright, what's going on tonight? Working on a little bit of reloading stuff. Just priming some 10mm. So I thought that I would thought I'd talk to you a little bit. So first off, last night I tried to do the Facebook Live thing and it's not working. It's not the avenue that I want to go. It's thankfully one of my friends, he was watching it, and he gave me some information that I needed. But in any case, I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't think. It's just not the avenue I want to go. I'm looking for something that's a little bit more. It's a little bit easier and a little bit more interactive. So we'll see what happens from there. But in any case, the whole reason why I am talking to you is to discuss the long-range Marlin a little bit. I told you guys I was going to try and put a video together of, you know, what went wrong and what was going on with that. It's honestly, it's too much. I got so much video, and I tried cobbling it together, and it didn't make sense. This is just going to be the easier way. So to start off with, I got a new scope last year. I was using a Bushnell Sport View that was, you know, it's old. And for Christmas last year, I got a Cabela's lever action rifle scope. All right, and it's got the oh, what the heck do they call that? It's got the ballistic drop reticle in it, and it's a 3 to 9 power in a 1-inch tube. So the first day, it was during the week, I sighted it in at 25 yards, and, you know, with just my lead ammunition, and it worked. I was happy with it. I had a couple other people show up at the range, so I couldn't do anything. So I ended that day, went back to the house. So after I got back to the house, I decided that, well, if I'm gonna try and make this thing accurate and everything and do what I want to it, I better clean it. So I took it and I scrubbed it. I went back. That was on a Tuesday night. On a Saturday, I went back to the range and tried sighting it in, and with some hand loads that I had made up, and it was literally all over the place. It was all over the place. It was missing the target, and you guys seen that backstop that I have. It was missing the target by feet. And I couldn't figure out why. That gun has never done that before. So I thought by cleaning the gun and me shooting all them lead bullets, it had fouled the barrel out enough, and I had shot the gun enough to where the rifling was worn out in it, and, you know, with shooting all the lead bullets, it just got to the fouling point to where it was shooting, and this is, now that I've cleaned it, this is just the way it's going to be. Well, that turned out not to be true, and I struggled with that thing for a very, very long time trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Couldn't get groups, period. It would group sometimes, and then other times it wouldn't group. I mean, we're talking 6, 7, 8-inch groups at 100 yards from sandbags. That gun doesn't do that. That gun is, well, I believe I showed you guys the targets on the Facebook page. That's what that gun shoots. So I guess it was maybe the beginning of November this year. I decided to try and sight it in again. We had a rifle sight-in day at the gun club, and nobody really showed up, so we kind of had free reign to do some things. So I was trying to sight it in, and there was a bunch of guys that you shoot the Varmint League, and they shoot, you know, out 300 yards. They got really nice stuff, and they're more knowledgeable than I am. And we had a steel plate set up, at that square steel plate set up, and I couldn't see, I was missing it, and I couldn't see where I was missing it, and I ended up adjusting the zoom on it, and I zoomed it. I think I had it up to 9 power, and I zoomed it back out to, you know, 3 or 4 power or whatever it was, and I shot and I hit the target. Well, that's weird. So I zoomed it back up again to like 7 or 8, and I missed it. So I tried it again, just, confirmation, what was going on. And it did it again. I hit the target when it was at the lower power, and then I missed when I was up at the higher power. So I stopped and I asked them guys, I said, what the hell's going on? I don't understand it. So what it is on a cheap scope, well, there's, what do they call that? There is the first focal plane on scope and second focal plane on scope, and it has to do with where the crosshairs are inside of the scope, in what position that they're in. One's good, one's bad. I got the bad one. So what happens is, it'll lose your aiming point when you're zooming in and out. So I must have sighted the gun in at X power, and when I was trying to zoom it up to 9, it would just go through and it would miss, and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. So once I figured that out, and I've got up to like 5.5 or 6 power, that's when I got that, 2 3/8 inch group at 100 yards from sandbags, and I ain't touched it since. That was the problem with that gun, was all in the scope. It wasn't me. It wasn't that the gun was dirty or clean again now. It was just in the scope, and that was the problem. So, but as far as the scope is concerned, I love the scope. It's got the ballistic reticles in it, or it's got the ballistic reticle in it. The optical clarity is fantastic with that thing, but once you get it sighted in, sighted in at like 3 power or 6 power, and don't touch it. Leave it alone, and you will be just fine. So that is what happened with the 44 Marlin project, I guess. So now that I finally figured it out a year later. So that's the long and the short of it, more of the long of it. But that'll conclude. That's all I got for tonight. I'm just going to sit here and do some more stuff, and I'll talk at you guys again later. Have a good night.